Hello everyone, this is Ange. Welcome to another episode of the Visual Novel Monthly Recap. This is a video series where I highlight news related to major visual novel releases and the community for each month. In this video, I'll highlight anything that happened in June of 2022. After a bit of a long wait, Manga Gamer released the whole version of Higurashi Rey on Steam and Manga Gamer's store. I suppose the best way to describe Higurashi Rey is that it's the first fan disc of the main Higurashi series. The main arc relies on knowing the ending of Higurashi Kai, so don't start Rey before Kai. Loopers, the latest key visual novel, has released in the West on the Nintendo Switch. For PC readers, apparently a Steam version will come out sometime in the future. Loopers was written by Ryukishi07, but apparently doesn't have a lot of his typical writing style. From what I hear, it seems to be a short-ish key-like story through and through. If you want a physical copy of Loopers, you can get that on the PlayAsia store. A fan translation of Kishin Hoku Demon Bane got released. So a long time ago, Jast USA released an official translation of Deus Machina Demon Bane. However, this was based on the original visual novel, which only had partial voice acting for some reason. There was a PS2 port called Kishin Hoku Demon Bane, which added a lot of features like full voice acting, higher resolution, sprite lip flaps, more CGs and cutscenes, and replacing H scenes with brand new ones. This fan translation got Jast's official translation of the original and applied it to a PC version of this updated port, and even apparently fixed typos and text box issues. So if you are interested in reading Demon Bane, and by the way it's one of Nitro Plus's earliest releases, this seems to be the definitive version now, unless you really want uncensored 18+ content. Looks like the Committee of Zero is trying something a little different for their anonymous code project compared to their previous science adventure translations. In this case, it seems they're releasing some partial translations on their YouTube channel. As of this video, they have the prologue and chapter 1. If you want to get an idea of what anonymous code is like, this seems like a good way to do so if you don't mind YouTube read-throughs of visual novels. Meteor World actor Badge and Dagger has released on both Steam and Jorin. This is a sequel to, I guess, what is considered Meteor World's actor's true route. It's a 10-hour-ish visual novel with 2 routes, for Fuyumi and Ryoko. This release is notable for a few reasons. While Badge and Dagger released on Steam, the original Meteor World actor did not. In fact, it got banned on Steam long before its release on Jorin. You can only get Meteor World actor on Jorin, and uncharacteristic of most visual novels on that store, Meteor World actor does not have DRM on it. This has been applied to Badge and Dagger on Jorin, so thankfully you will not get DRM on whichever platform you decide to get Badge and Dagger on. Acid Tiger announced that he will be doing an 18+ retranslation of Chuseon Goura 46+1. For those who don't know, this visual novel released on Steam about 6 years ago by Next Ninja, but has no 18+ patch officially. They released this visual novel in chapters, and I've heard mixed things about the translation itself. I'm guessing this fan translation is an attempt to rectify the previous release, as I believe Chuseon Goura is one of the highest rated visual novels in Japan on Adult Gamescape. For those who consider Long Live the Queen a visual novel, there was a blog post on Steam that celebrated its 10th anniversary. They made sure to let fans know that the original game would be ported to consoles sometime this year. It's also confirmed that they're making a sequel to Long Live the Queen called Galaxy Princess Zorana. Alka Translations has released a fan patch of Summer Pockets Reflection Blue. The original Summer Pockets on Steam had routes for 4 heroines, plus a true route as expected of Key. Reflection Blue is basically an expansion pack that adds routes for basically every other heroine, including Miki, Shizuku, and a brand new heroine, Shiki. I believe there's also new content added to the common route and every previous route minus Owls. Just keep in mind this patch cannot be added to the Steam version of Summer Pockets. To properly support Reflection Blue, you'd have to buy the Japanese version on a place like DL Site. If you've been wondering what's been up with Sekai Project's upcoming release of Amano Tsutsumi, there's unfortunately bad news. Despite the English version of Amano Tsutsumi being banned on Steam almost half a year ago, it seems Sekai Project was dedicated to at least get some version of this visual novel on Steam, and it looks like they just tried to do a Chinese-only release of Amano Tsutsumi on Steam. Sadly, it looks like even that version got banned off Steam. Guess we'll just have to see if Sekai Project will get it on GOG in like a year or so from now, like what they did with Seventh Sign Mr. Sister. Shirobune released an English translation of Icha Icha Steady on the Jorin store only. This is a fan disc of Marmalade's Study Steady that is basically just a short afterstory of Yu's route. Expect some really long H scenes as per usual of this developer. Jast has released the 4th episode of Innocent Gray's Flower series, Le Volume sur Hiver. I haven't read the series, but as far as I can tell, the protagonist will be Suo once again, who is the protagonist of episode 1, assumedly to conclude her love triangle, and the whole series' stories. For all you Fault Milestone fans out there wondering why it took so long for a new release after Milestone 2 above, Allison Dissonance's current programmer made a long blog post detailing what happened. You can read the detailed history in a link in the description, but the TLDR is apparently they had to cycle through at least 5 programmers before they could get someone to get Silence Dependent like Crafty out. Manga Gamer has released The Patient S Remedy on their store and Steam. All I know is that it's a yaoi, or boys love visual novel, written by the same person who wrote Haruka Shitsuji Naked Butlers. The sequel to AI The Somnium Files, Nirvana Initiative, has released mostly worldwide on Steam, Switch, Xbox X and S, and PS4, with Japanese, English, and Chinese text. As someone who hasn't beaten the original AI game yet, all I know is that the sequel has 2 protagonists different from the original. There's Mizuki, who was a major character in the original, and a brand new character, Ryuki. I'd assume it'd have similar gameplay, as well as a Uchikoshi mystery story as the original. The Snowy Ryujin group has released a fan translation of their visual novel that I believe is a basis of their name, Snow, originally developed by Studio Mebius. While this visual novel does not appear to have any key scenario writers that I see, the visual novel is apparently essentially a key visual novel in all but name. From what I've told, it's had similar drama, romance, feels, comedy, designs, and all that stuff. Ref on Twitter released a fan translation patch of Subarashiki Hibi's Knockin' on Heaven's Door. So this is an interesting release, as it's a short 1-hour-ish epilogue chapter to Subahebi that's only in the Japanese version's 10th anniversary or full HD voice edition of Subahebi. So if you want to read this, you cannot currently do it through Steam or Jazz's version. And that is it for June of 2022. As always, if you have any feedback, positive or negative, feel free to leave a comment below in this video or one of my social medias. See you all next month. A very special thank you to Yokai of Kujo for the Ko-Fi donation, always much appreciated.